One day, the main character was doing some magical ritual in his bedroom. He have zero experience in entering dungeons. So, he decided to summon a female demon to help him gain experience, and become a man who conquered a dungeon. He learned this information from the Discord mod final boss, and according to that information, the main character must practice NNN for 72 days. It was a hard challenge for the main character to control his hands from touching his legendary sword. Then for countermeasures, he imagines his caring stepmom to control his earthly desires, and it was very effective in calming his raging kraken. After all that struggles, it was now his time to graduate today. Then the main character have finally summoned a female demon of culture to fulfill his cultural desires. However, the female demon looks like the main character's stepmother. Bruh. The main character immediately notices that feature, so he asks her if she was his stepmom. Then the female demon denied that idea, but the main character noticed that the glasses she was wearing was similar to the main character's stepmom. She was now about to get cooked. Therefore, to avoid this situation, she decided to give him a professional helping hand to weaken the power of the main character so she can escape. She knows that this is morally illegal, but she cannot control her female demon instinct from devouring the fresh meat in front of her. The main character was now believing that she was not his stepmom, because the female demon in front of him was a woman of culture, and his stepmother have a different personality. Then the main character directly feed the female demon with fresh vanilla milkshake, and she gave him 5 Michelin stars. After that, the female demon was now planning to perform her dramatic exit. However, the hungry main character will not let that happen. So, he pierced the female demon with his wooden sword. Then the main character becomes the one-thrust man. However, he was not yet tired, because his 2 sacks have too much reserve from 72 days of milkshake retention. So, he continued the clapping exercise. Then the female demon accepted her fate, and just enjoyed the moment. Suddenly, the female demon have lost herself against her natural instinct, and she was now begging for more creamy milkshake. Then the main character gave her an overflowing amount. A few days later, the main character can never look directly at his stepmom because of the guilt feelings. He knows that his stepmother and the female demon have different personalities, so he thinks that it was impossible that the 2 women were the same person. However, he realizes that his stepmother was actually beautiful. After that, he returned to his bedroom to summon the female demon again. Then the main character went straight to his clapping business with the female demon. The main character's brain was using the power of imagination, so he created a big bang explosion while thinking of his stepmother. Despite the feeling of guilt, the main character keeps on summoning the female demon for his cultural needs. One evening, the main character's stepmother was washing the dishes. Then the main character noticed that his stepmother was fully equipped with a cake factory. The main character tried to grab a piece of cake, but he was able to control the inner demon of his hand. Then the main character decided not to summon the female demon tonight as a personal punishment. However, the main character dreamed about his stepmom, and she was wearing only an apron. Then his stepmom turned into the female demon, and the female demon was roleplaying as his stepmom. The main character started the clapping activities with her, because he can fantasize all he wanted in his dreams. Eventually, the main character gave her a creamy milkshake. Then she told the main character that he can do the clapping ritual as much as he wanted. The main character accepted her offer, and he started the clapping exercises again. In addition, he was devouring the big juicy melons for gaining extra nutrition. Then the main character delivered his final explosion to the female demon. Suddenly, he realized that he might be actually wanting some bonding time with his stepmother. In the next scenario, the main character's stepmother was worried, because his exam scores were getting lower. However, he cannot say a single word, because the main reason for his declining scores was the female demon. Then his stepmom was giving the main character a lot of yapping. So, the main character went to his room to study. Meanwhile, stepmom have a brilliant idea. The main character was now about to start his study session, but the female demon appeared even though he did not summon her. Then the female demon told the main character that she will role play as a private tutor. The female demon unleashed the massive melons from her front yard garden. Then she was using those greatness to tenderize his hardened organic meat. In addition, she comboed that technique by savoring his lollipop. The main character was now about to explode from happiness. However, she cancelled his explosion plan. She will only continue if the main character promises that he will study hard from now on. Then the main character accepted her terms and condition. So, the female demon continued her services, and the main character paid her with his milkshake currency. After that, the main character was still full of hardness energy. Therefore, the female demon decided that she will drain him until the very last drop. Then she was now riding on his iron Pegasus. In addition, she was suffocating the main character with her massive airbags. Eventually, the main character poured buckets of creamy milkshake. However, his milkshake dispenser was still ready and available for dispensing more milkshake. Therefore, the clapping exercises continued. As a result, the main character's exam scores keep on declining. One day, the main character told his stepmom that he was going to the pool to hang out with friends. Then his stepmom asked if there will be girls coming with them. So, the main character told her that it was a bonding time with the bros. At the resort, the main character was spacing out, because he was imagining his stepmom wearing a bikini. Suddenly, the female demon appeared, and she was wearing a cultured swimsuit, and she became the center of attraction. Then she was calling out the main character. So, his friends become jealous that the main character was acquainted with a woman with massive assets. After that, the female demon uses a magical spell on the background characters. Then the effect of her magical spell will make all the people not notice the main character and the female demon. Therefore, they can do anything they wanted in public. The main character was now doing an outdoor recreational activities with the female demon, and he was asking why she was here. Then the female demon explained that she was here to do her job of harvesting milkshake powers from the men around. However, in reality, she was just here to check if the main character was hanging out with a girl. Suddenly, the main character gave her shoulders a mosquito bite as a punishment for being a woman of culture. Then he donated his fresh creamy milkshake to the female demon. The next day, the main character was chilling, and stepmom was doing the household chores. The main character had the high ground advantage, so, he was able to notice that she got a mosquito bite on her shoulders. He knows that his father was out to buy milk, and it was impossible for his stepmom to do NTR activities. Then the main character used his big brain, so he told her that she looks good in her swimsuit yesterday. His stepmom did not realize that she was now under his genjutsu, and it was too late, because she was talking to the main character like she was with him yesterday. Then the main character finally discovered the truth that his stepmom and the female demon was the same person. So, the main character attacked his stepmom with his raging weapon, and he was doing the clapping exercise. The main character was angry, because she was deceiving him all this time. Then the main character was giving her a high five on the backyard peaches as a punishment. In addition, he also gave her his nutritious creamy milkshake, and she turned into a female demon after receiving that explosive amount. Then the clapping activities continued until evening. The main character was punishing her with his rod of destruction, so she was apologizing for deceiving him. Suddenly, the main character felt hopeless for entering the Alabama culture. However, his stepmom was proud of him. Then the main character decided that he wanted her to become his exclusive female demon, and he was willing to donate an unlimited milkshake. The main character gave her his best explosive shot, so she promoted the main character as her master. The next day, the main character was awakened by his stepmother. Then the main character thinks that everything that happened to him was just a dream. However, it was all real, and she volunteered to take care of his morning glory. That's the end of this cultural anime recap. Moral lesson of the story: become the NNN final boss, because high risk, high rewards. Anyways, here is your homemade sauce, and please limit it to the culturally matured people only, and thank you for watching.